After 8 long years of compiling and interpreting the most up-to-date data, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released their latest report, and it's a barn burner. As in, all the barns will burn. Look, if you're like me, climate change is a lot like a bunch of old emails you forgot to respond to. Even when you're not thinking about it, it hangs over you a little bit all the time. So you try to distract yourself with blissfully mind-numbing reality TV. So we thought, why not do that in real time? Here to talk about both the climate change report from the IPCC and The Bachelorette, we have climate expert Molly Taft and The Bachelorette expert Ali Barthwell. Molly and Ali, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having us.
Both important topics.
Molly, I'm going to start with you. What surprised you most about this IPCC report?
The thing about this report is that if you've been paying attention or reporting on this stuff for the last, however many years since the last report, it's not particularly surprising. That said, seeing it laid out really sucks. This is hard to hear. It's the worst.
Oh no!
I think me, I'm so sorry. I am like the world's worst party guest because this stuff sucks. I think for me, what was really hard to hear was that, basically when the world got together for the Paris Agreement, they said if we could keep warming under 1.5 degrees Celsius since the 19th century, we need to make that happen. That is already, we're going to see massive changes with that warming, but we absolutely have to keep under 1.5. This new report is like, well, folks, no matter what we do, we're going to reach 1.5 by the 2040s, which is far sooner than I would like to see it. But basically, that's what's going to happen regardless of what we do. And that's going to mean really, really terrible things. And
Ali, I'm sorry, I can't take any more of it. Ali,
Yeah.
Could you believe when Katie came for Greg like that and on television?
You know what? I actually can believe that Katie came for Greg like that. This entire season, Katie has been more concerned about doing the Bachelorette right than actually being open and vulnerable. And she had someone in front of her who was feeling emotional. He had a shame hangover because he had expressed a feeling on television, and most straight men are not want to do that. And she looked at it and said, you know what? This is my girl power moment. I've been playing Olivia Rodrigo backstage, and all my girlfriends are forwarding me links from Reddit. So let's talk about your acting career, which no one knew about. This was not a thing that was part of the
show. Molly, back over to you.
I just want to point out, first of all, that Katie, when she had her Seattle date with Greg a couple episodes ago, they pulled out a rain machine. Do you know where they were filming? New Mexico. Do you know about the super drought that the West is facing right now? It is epic. It is historic. Water is going to become a scarce resource.
You know what else they did in the season finale? They had a giant effigy of Zozobra, a New Mexico tradition where they set a giant effigy on fire and they burned their fears and anxieties that they had written on paper. And the entire time I'm watching it, this resort is going up in flames. There's one errant breeze and this whole thing is going up.
Molly, the report makes clear that it is going to be hard for us to avoid hitting 1.5 degrees of warming, but that is not some magical line over which things are bad and before which things are okay. The report also says that if we do hit some of the targets that we have already set, we will keep the number below 2 degrees centigrade. If we hit some of the targets we've already set, we may keep it below 2. We need to do more to keep it below 1.5.
Here's a fun little twist is there is some positivity in this report if you look super hard and you understand what we're trying to do. There is actually a call to action in this report, which is they say it's not still too late to stave off the worst impacts. And in fact, the real hope is that if we do everything right, by the time we hit 1.5, we may have developed enough technologies to help kick in global cooling and techniques to sort of pull some of this carbon out of the atmosphere. The thing is, it's going to be one of the hardest things humanity has probably ever done, but we know what to do. We basically need to stop all fossil fuel use very, very soon. We need to stop all new fossil fuel exploration by next year, which is quite a feat. And we need to start a massive decarbonization and electrification effort and transition to renewable energy. So, just really casual stuff, but there is hope. We do know how to fix this. it's just going to be really hard.
We are going to blow through some of those objectives, right? Like ExxonMobil's stock price is based on the assumption that we're not going to do what you just said. So it does seem like we're going to need to rely on technologies that don't yet exist. My view, as obviously a famous scientist, is that like we're gonna have to figure out how to get this stuff out of the air. We're gonna have to build new technologies that removes carbon from the air. And then I hear climate scientists who are obviously less renowned than me saying that that's going to be very difficult and not something we can rely on. Where are you on carbon capture?
Oh, yeah. Interesting topic. With all due respect to your expertise, John, I think that theoretically, carbon capture is a yes and situation. We've got a lot of folks right now who are very excited about it. Bill Gates, notably, has sort of done this talking tour of how it's the answer. But often paired with that attitude is this sort of approach that we're never going to meet these targets, so we need this technology instead. The answer needs to be, we need to develop those technologies, but also we need to get our ass in gear to stop using fossil fuels, period. Like we're just not going to be able to do it otherwise. I think that, decarbonizing the economy needs to go hand in hand with developing these sorts of technologies. Tech is great, but it can only do so much.
That was so heavy. Ali, do you miss Chris Harrison?
No. Chris Harrison is a sentient pair of LL Bean heritage chinos with a flat front that has decided that he is capable and emotionally intelligent enough to guide the franchise when the majority of what he can do is look at someone, say what is happening, and then announce what will happen next. So Chris Harrison could easily be replaced with a set of cue cards that just had the date and time on them. Much of his job could be replaced with someone holding up a newspaper or a hotel itinerary. So am I excited? Tayshia and Caitlin are returning for Michelle's season. Yes. Am I excited that Bachelor in Paradise is going to be having a series of celebrity hosts? We will see, because I don't know if David Spade and Lil Jon really capture the energy of the Bachelor cinematic. Would love a follow-up on all of that.
Let me ask you this. A new topic. I've come to learn that there's going to be some sort of Bachelor for seniors. Yeah. Sort of silver Bachelor.
So, yes.
Are you excited about this?
Every time that they have had someone that's literally over the age of 29 on the show, it's been a better season. So the fact that there might be like people in their mid to late 60s really sounds like a treat.
Molly, who would have been your top choice for Katie?
The one who didn't do a rain machine, John. That would be my top choice.
Okay, so that's Blake or Justin. Where are we landing?
Yeah.
Blake or Justin?
I mean, Justin was very handsome, but, they're both a little bit like sentient Bumble profiles. So at this point, I have no comment.
Yeah, they're an algorithm sent to us by Tinder.
Absolutely.
Molly. The report, as you pointed out, the report indicates that getting to net zero will take unprecedented global cooperation. That feels very daunting, but at the same time, like we have seen countries working together and setting ambitious targets. What does the level of cooperation we need look like compared to what we're seeing right now?
I think what we're seeing right now is preschool learning to share blocks, and we need to go up to like a master's degree in like international relations. We really need to ramp it up. Countries have notoriously not been very good at hammering out the details of these sorts of things. We also kind of just need to get our own shit in order in the US first, even before we even kind of try to come to other countries and set examples. With this infrastructure bill that just passed, for instance, the stuff that got taken out, in the bipartisan compromise was really, again, kind of kindergarten level stuff to start really getting our ass in gear to decarbonize. And the result is it's not, it's definitely not enough. So I love the optimism, but that's kind of not my jam. I really, really, we need to see a lot more. And I am looking forward to, in a dark sense, what happens at the Glasgow climate talks this year, because I'm not really sure what's going to happen.
Ali.
Yes.
How will climate change affect the future of The Bachelor, specifically Bachelor in Paradise, which in the trailer for the new season shows the contestants enduring a tropical storm?
I mean, there has been rain before. There had been sort of a gloomy day, but I think contestants they have to spend a lot of time before they go on the season getting their eyebrows tattooed on, getting eyeliner tattooed on. This is a real thing that people do because they're on a beach with no hair and they have to do their own hair and makeup. So they get their face like tattooed on. A lot of the women have talked about, they're like, I get my eyeliner tattooed on, or I get like lip liner tattooed on. So I have
tattoos.
I will not melt off.
That's
so I
cool.
think we're probably going to see a lot of innovative beauty techniques to look your best while gale force winds are whipping at your face during a proposal. They may have to go to a resort that has walls, because famously the resort is like an open air bacchanal palace where everyone sleeps on bunk beds, and there's like one room with air conditioning where you're allowed to go and have sex. So I think they'll have to reinvest in like walls so that we could really see some strong infrastructure necessary at Bachelor in Paradise.
Final question for both of you. What can the Bachelorette do to solve climate change? Ali, we'll start with you.
Well, I mean, we've seen in these COVID seasons that they've been doing at these resorts. They're at one location. They're not jet setting around the globe to 3 or 4 global destinations. We're not going from Sioux Falls, South Dakota to Tahiti, to Paris, to back to Bali. So I think they can stay in one place. They can avoid any symbolic effigies that will be burned to shed relationship stress, to maybe not encourage wildfires. And then again, I'm really excited to see what sustainable, reusable makeup products and gowns we're going to see going forward.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Molly, same question to you. What can the Bachelorette do to solve climate change?
Ali hit it right on the head. And I would just like to add, in 2014, after Governor Jerry Brown announced the first devastating drought in California, an episode aired with Juan Pablo and then contestant, future Bachelorette Claire Crawley, where they unleashed hundreds of thousands of tons of real snow on an LA set to transform it into a winter wonderland. So in the Bachelor world, dates are extravagant, and they often mean environmental extravagance. I would like to propose to the producers that straight people can be totally messy without you doing all that shit. Just put them on an island, put them in a room, for God's sake. They'll do the work. Stop wasting water. Stop going to all these places. They'll make the mess themselves. And I think that's how they can address it.
And they did that, and it was called Bachelor Winter Games, and it was a true goddamn delight. It was a Winter Olympics themed Bachelor spinoff where they took people from all the international seasons, put them in a house. They occasionally took them skiing or snowboarding, and it was a fucking treat. And there have been relationships that have lasted the test of time out of Bachelor Winter Games.
A lesson there for all of us. I suppose. Molly Taft, Ali Barthwell, thank you both so much.